our speakers. And we also encourage everyone to please use our official background through the link ayan that is sent in the Zoom chat box.
Yes, and next is make sure to fill out the evaluation form that will be given during the event so that you can get your certificates and win cash prizes. Next is be respectful and mindful of yourself and others at all times. And lastly, don't hesitate to ask questions, enjoy, and learn during the whole program. And with that, again, welcome to all our participants here in Zoom and also to our viewers out there in Facebook Live. For our first time attendees, welcome to part 4 of our As to Explore in Massive Skills and the New Normal. And we hope that you enjoy your time together with us today.
Yes, ayan. But syempre naman guys, before we start, let's have an energy level check. Ayan, parang routine na natin to every event eh. So, ayan guys, please type any emojis that best describe your afternoon. So, ayan guys, kamusta po tayong lahat? Pwede ko ba kayong ma-request na mag-chat dito sa ating Zoom kung kamusta ang hapon nyo? Masarap ba yung ulam nyo today o hindi pa kayo kumakain? Kasi same. Ayan, so relax ba kayo ngayon? Ang dami kong tanong. Basta send
Ayan,
din na lang yung favorite emoji.
Ayan, very mixed emojis ang nakikita natin sa ating Zoom chat box.
Oo
But
nga.
ayan, while we are keep receiving on the emojis from our viewers, how about you, Megan? Ayan, how was your afternoon? Ayan.
How was my afternoon? One word, thesis.
Thesis, alright. Thesis is real.
Thesis. Ayun, hindi ko na kailangan i-explain how was my afternoon sa thesis. Pero ikaw naman, Bogs, how are you today?
Wala naman, ganun din naman. Normal lang naman, walang tulog. Wala, ayun talaga sakripisyo tulog.
Yes, eat it for the week.
Yeah, but anyway, ayan, from our viewers, ayan, puro heart emojis. Ayan, guys, ayan, thank you so much. Ayan, give that energy until the end of program.
Yes.
Ayan, so kukulitin pa namin kayo ni Megan later. Ayan, so mukhang ready na Ate Megan na ating mga viewers. Ayan. So what's in it for as a Megan for today's event?
Alright, well partner, isa lang naman itong event na to sa pinaka-kinakaabang-abang na event ng ASTI this year, which is ASTI Explore a Must-Have Skills in the New Normal. It is a series of webinars that tackles the different design thinking steps to help you out students to get better at idea pitching and business pitching and overall to become better technopreneurs. Well, by the way guys, this is already the part 4 of our ASTI Explore. So kaya naman sa mga naka-attend doong October for our part 1, November for part 2, and part 3 naman itong January, welcome back sa inyo. Ayan. And if it is your first time with us naman, ang mahalaga ay nandito na kayo. Ayan, better late than never. Because we have invited esteemed speakers to do a couple of talks na for sure mag-e-enjoy kayo at of course matututo.
I guarantee that, Megan, because I've attended the previous webinar ng ASTI Explore, ayan, from ideation, prototyping. Grabe, ang dami ko talagang natutunan na for sure na ma-apply din ng ating viewers, ng ating audience na mga umattend last time. And finally, for our last webinar on the series of the ASTI Explore in Massive Skills in the New Normal, ang ating topic ay pitching and presentation. So again, thank you so much for keeping in touch with our webinar series. And we hope you have learned new information about design thinking because of this webinar series. And we hope that you continue to learn as in the future.
Yes.
Alright, ayan, grabe Megan. Has it really been 4 sessions already? Ayan, parang kahapon lang yung mga previous session natin. Grabe pa talaga pag ayan, iba talaga pag sobrang busy, Megan, no, with thesis, ayan, hindi natin namamalayan yung oras. Parating na tayo sa ating Hell Week, kumbaga, or the final week for our second term for this academic year. Yes. Pero syempre, kung may ASTI, ayan, para tulungan kayong mag-relax. Ayan. So we certainly hope that we met your expectations when it comes to this series.
Yes. Well, syempre naman partner, kasi here at ASTI, nakapapatalo pa ba, we aim to help all students pursue their technopreneurship journeys, and that is why we have this event.
Ayan, exactly, Megan. So be sure to pay attention so you don't miss out on any important knowledge that a speaker will be sharing with us today. So once again, welcome. And from the bottom of our hearts, the organizers, thank you so much for attending today's session.
Ayan, of course guys, syempre naman to give our biggest appreciation sa pag-attend nyo today. Meron kaming special gift para sa inyo, Pak.
Ayan,
Ayan.
grabe. Anong special give yan, Megan? Grabe. Nabuhayan
Special
bigla
gift.
lahat ng audience.
Baka ito na yung favorite part nyo, guys.
Yeah.
Well, for all our attendees today, there will be a special raffle done after this program wherein you can win a total of isang million. Charot. 100 pesos. 100 pesos each. Kasi we will be having 3 total winners. Pero, guys, paano nga ba mangyayari ang raffle na to? So, for our raffle mechanics, ayan. The names will be taken from the official registration and evaluation form of ASTI Explore Part 4. And the raffle will be drawn after the program and winners will be posted on our Facebook page. And once again, guys, only those who filled up both our registration form and evaluation form will be entered into the raffle. Again, guys, for our evaluation form, it will be released at the very end of this program. Yes.
Ayan, so keep in that mind mga ating audience and syempre sa ating mga audience na parang familiar ni mga mukha dahil parang ginagawang pangkabuhayan showcase ang ating webinar. Well, aside sa mga learnings, diba, why not, diba? Kikita ka pa, makikinig ka lang, diba?
Yes.
So, alright.
Smart.
Yes, work smart. So ayan guys,
Yes.
kung gusto nyo pang manalo ng more amazing prizes, make sure to fill up the attendance form from now and stick with us until the end. Sign in yung prize and also by staying throughout the whole program, you'll be learning new great things to our speaker today that for sure will be useful in your career path. Ayan. O diba? Umattend lang kayo. Wait, sorry. Nag-alarm. May klase kasi ako. Okay. Okay. Let's proceed. Diba? Umattend lang kayo. Natuto na kayo. Tapos, may chance ba kayong manalo ng amazing prizes natin? Alright.
Yes, panalong-panalo talaga, partner.
Yes, ayan.
Parang na-excite rin yung phone mo kaya nag-alarm.
Ayan. So, sa prof ko, sir, pasensya na po. Habang na lang sa lesson. Anyway, alright. Let's get this event started. And I hope everyone is relaxed and comfortable because we are about to meet our first speaker. So, are you all excited to meet her, guys? Ayan, please type 1. Ayan, type 1 sa ating chat box. And guys, if you'll be sharing your experience together with us with the Atcha Explore, don't forget to use our official hashtag #ASTIExplore and #BeAstig. At huwag na rin kayong mahiyang i-follow ang social media account ng ASTI for upcoming amazing event na for sure may enjoy nyo din. Ayan, Megan. Kamusta ang ating mga participants sa Zoom chat ba?
Well, out of 153, parang mga 21 pa lang to.
Well, okay. So, ayan, excited na talaga sila.
Joke lang, guys.
Yan, so let's introduce na Megan na ating first speaker.
Ayan, alright, gladly, partner. Ayan, so for our first speaker for today's event, Athena Atcha Abe is currently a technical community manager of education.ph. Ate Atcha is a fourth-year computer science student, core group member of the Junior Philippine Computer Society SPU Manila chapter, Angel Hack Ambassador, content creator on YouTube and Facebook, a mentor to Impact Hub hackathons, and a resource speaker for tech school organizations and companies. And she is also an advocate for social participation and has been engaging with tech communities to share her knowledge and experiences in the tech industry.
Wow, Megan, everyone, here to discuss what makes a winning pitch to help all aspiring technopreneurs out there become better at pitching and presentation. Let's give it up for our first speaker, Miss Athena Atcha Abe.
Hi everyone! Hello!
Hello,
Ayan,
Can you
good
hear me?
afternoon.
Ayan,
Yes
good
po.
afternoon. Ayan, thank you Megan for that introduction and for ASTI Explore for inviting me. This is a really good webinar series, especially for the students. And as a student, I'm really happy na merong ganito na to help students upskill in their career. Ayan. Okay, so I'll begin by, of course, sharing my presentation. All right, let me know if you can see my screen.
Ayan,
Is it
yes, visible po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so our topic for today is about pitching. Although in this topic, I'll be also giving a short background lang on how you can, of course, present it as well, since it's also related with the one another. And for this topic, the goal is to help you know the characteristics and how you can capture the public, or especially to your jury or to your business, on how you can successfully pitch your idea. But before I begin, I would first like to ask you a question. What is your goal in attending the webinar? So, as mentioned, no, this webinar has been running since last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm interested to know kung ano talaga yung goal niyo pag-attend ng webinar. First question, dahil required ba, or is it something that you're really interested, especially in the topic of pitching? Let me know then if this is your first time learning about pitching. Ayan. Nakikita ko ang mga students ay napaka-active. Ayan. And I'm interested then to know your thoughts. Ayan, 100 tayo dito. Huwag kayong mahiya kasi student din ako. I am fourth year computer science student, and I'm also, kakatas lang namin sa thesis. So it's really helpful then I'll be able to share with you guys my experiences in pitching. Ayan. So biglang nawala sila. Ayan, chat nyo lang. Ayan. Sabi ni Sai na all tapos to sa thesis, pero wala pa kami grade. Wala pa kaming grade. Ayan. So, kakatapos lang din ng defense namin na last December. Ayan, chat lang kayo. Ano ba goal nyo? Naku, wala kayong goal. Ayan, sabi ni Lloyd, to learn new skills, especially in technopreneurship. Yes, that's the goal din naman talaga of our talk. Sabi ni Matira, baka po makaka-help sa persuasive speech namin. Yes, definitely. Sabi ni Alex, 1. Ano ibig sabihin ng 1? Ayan, how about the others? I'm interested then to know your goals. Incentives po, Char. Yung raffle then no. Ayan, startups also, yes. Incentives. Ayan. May anonymous sender tayo. Sabi niya, para po malaman sikreto paano makapasa sa thesis. Idea ko sure dyan. Ayan. So, how about the others? Alam mo, minsan kasi si Atcha, nagtatawag yan pag walang sumasagot. Sabi ni Michael, learn how to defend thesis. This is not particularly in thesis kasi the goal here is to upskill you outside the industry. So, more than thesis yung goal natin. Sabi ni Sir Ken, pang malakasang public speaker. And sabi ni, I'm not sure how I would pronounce your name. So Kadir na lang. To learn something new. Para matuto po ipaglaban o sarili. Grabe naman. Ayan. Alam mo, John, hindi mo na kailangan paglaban sarili mo kung alam mo naman yung worth mo, di ba? To explore new things. Ayan. Okay, great. I really love your active participation and enthusiasm. Okay. So let's begin. So who am I? I'm already introduced, but I want you to just chat then if ever while discussing your questions. So I'm currently the technical community manager. I was a former application analyst and social media specialist. I am a content creator on YouTube, and I also do mentoring and peer tutoring during my free time. So it's a really good topic that was assigned to me, which is pitching, because I've been doing mentoring in hackathon, specifically in Impact Hub, and I'm also an Angel Hack Ambassador, which is an organization organizing hackathons across different regions across the globe. So I've been into the following verticals: so education, climate change, health, agriculture, and smart cities, along with other professional leaders and industry leaders and other professionals. So the mga co-mentors ko is not, hindi lang siya naka mga tech. So tulad ko, when I started joining hackathons as a mentor, ang first naging specialization ko is social media marketing. So I do talks, web development, web design, information security, database system automation, and social media marketing. Ayan. So next. So first, let's define what a product pitch is. So if you will be Googling pitch sa internet, ang dami niyan. May elevator pitch, sales pitch, ayan, product pitch, and as technopreneurs, yan, entrepreneur pitch. But there are specifically different frameworks for it. But in here, in a general definition, a product pitch is how you would present and emphasize how your product works, solve pain points, and what benefits it will bring to your users. And I have a question. Ayan, sa mga nagtitisis, gusto nyo bang manalo o pumasa at maging successful sa inyong mga pitching? Ayan. Yes or no? Do you wanna win? Of course, yes naman, di ba? Big yes. Ayan, syempre. Okay, yes, 1,000%. Yes. O, diba, nabuhayan kayo. Siyempre, gusto natin pumasa at graduate, diba? That's our goal. And of course, hindi lang din naman nagtatapos as students kasi as future technopreneurs, we want to create our own business and create an impact through our business. So by winning, here are the main points that I would be presenting. Is first, of course, diba, natutunan nyo na yung how you would empathize, how would you ideate, and how would you execute. Now, ito na yung parang final stage, no? Is the, ano na siya, dito mo na, this is your time to really present and pitch nga yung iyong pinaghirapan. Yan. For example, thesis, ito na talaga. So, first begin, di ba, natutunan na natin yan is to tell your story. Of course, when you're doing something, you shouldn't do it just for the purpose of sige na or something mediocre na para lang magawa, para lang makapasa. Telling your story is by understanding and defining the problem. So I'll give my thesis experience as an example. It's really hard kasi as students, di ba, to ideate kung ano ba talaga yung problema na gusto nating solusyonan. Specifically as students, our perspective and our knowledge in terms of finding out the solutions to these problems is very, hindi pa ganun kalalim per se. Kasi especially we're not exposed to the industry. And di ba, what we do is, of course, we ask for people about their experiences, about what they're struggling with, which is di ba, a part of empathizing. And with that, with pitching, once you have understood and defined your problem, so ang naging thesis namin is to create a career decision support system. Kasi sa mga fourth year din dyan, mga unang batch ng K-12, nahirapan din tayo transitioning into senior high school and college. And although tayo yung naging unang batch ng mga strands, hindi din naging tugma yung ating naging college courses. So I have classmates na nagsimula senior high school ABM pero ang tinake niya ComSci. And with that, hindi lang nagtatapos 'yon. Hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung magiging career natin. So ako, my first job was a social media specialist. So it's more on marketing. And then I into a more technical role. So ayun siya. When with pitching, how are you going to present it is to make sure that the first 3 to 7 seconds of yung magpipitch sa inyo, yung sasabihin niya, it's important. It can be a tagline, it can be how you're going to start your anecdote. So make sure the first lines within those 3 to 7 seconds is important. So next is to, of course, present the solution. Di ba, may saying talaga na time is gold, and it's very true in terms of pitching kasi you'll be only given a limited time, sometimes 3 to 5 minutes to do your pitching. Minsan kasama na din dun yung demo. And with our thesis, di ba, minsan a lot of time sa pag-demo nakakain ng oras. Make sure you are focused dun sa objectives. Make sure it's simple in such a way na as technopreneurs, for example, as a thesis, if you're going to create your own startups and you're going to do your sales pitch to different types of people in different types of industry, make sure everyone understands it in a simple manner. So do not use mga heavy words, no, mga jargons, ganyan. Make sure it's simple and make sure it's clear. And of course, the end goal here is to create an impact. How are you going to impress your panelists sa mga thesis, or how can you impress ang jury or yung future business partner nyo as technopreneurs? Ayan. So next is yun nga, always start with the problem. It all goes back to the problem when you're going to do your 5-minute pitch, mga ganun. So first, look into the deep, which is you. Again, as I have mentioned, bakit mo nga ba ito ginagawa, para saan? Ano yung goal? So an anecdote is the best way to begin. With that, this ang magiging impression sa'yo na you're authentic and you have empathy. Kasi I have witnessed a lot of participants sa hackathon na they're so sobrang ready na nagmumukha ng robot. You know, yung sobrang handa sila, okay, nandun lahat, maganda and everything. Pero wala yung pagiging genuine eh. Yun yung naglaki. Parang nagiging hindi na siya humane tignan. So, sobrang robot talaga, promise. Ayun. So, be genuine and connected to the problem. Kasi sometimes, magandang bagay na alam mo yung problem, ito yung solution. Pero, make sure na it's not redundant. Yun din yung mga na-observe ko as a mentor. Ayan. Always connected to its people and the business. Next is research. Ayan, research, verify, and consult. Always never be shy to ask a question and focus on the problem. So later, I am looking forward, no, to your questions in terms of pitching. Yan, always do research kasi data is really important. Meron sa akin nag-stock na isang speaker din. Si Bashu Mall, he's a data analyst if I'm not mistaken. Ang pinakatumatak sa isip ko, sabi niya, data is the new gold. And it's definitely true. Kasi hindi naman tayo maka-present ng successful pitch if we don't have enough data, no, to prove our point, to come up with solutions. And lastly is to set sail with a framework. So there are different types of framework, there are different types of structures on how you're going to create your pitching. And it's up to you on how are you going to organize it. And of course, you also have to consider the criteria for you to win this pitch. So for thesis, ayan, may different criteria. For hackathons, there are different criteria. And for businesses, ayan. So next is I'm going to show you. Let me know kung naririnig.
Technologies and then not being able to
Ayan, naririnig ba? Chat niyo lang, guys. Ayan, okay. So I'm going to show you, this was last December, ito yung last vertical ng Impact Hub Hackathon. Ito yung naging pitch ng grand winner. Ayan, so ang naging vertical nila is Smart City. So as mentors kasi, we provide these problem statements, and then from there, we call them kasi hackers, and madami kaming terms. So mga participants, they have the freedom to choose what they really want to solve and create an impact from it. So I want you to observe kung paano pinitch ng winner, na pangalan nila Winehouse, yung kanilang product. And let me know after your thoughts. So they can only pitch for 5 minutes. Ayan.
put it out into the real world, because an important
Nawala siya.
prize that our top teams get is that incubation program that's worth $20,000 US, and that's to bring your ideas into reality. So that's why the business viability is so important, because this hackathon does not end here. It goes on to the real world with the help of Impact Hub Manila and all of our community partners. And of course, with the help of your mentors, thank you to one of our mentors, Michael Lamp, for saying good luck to your presentations and wishing all of you the best. So all of our participants, for those who are not aware, have over the course of the 48 hours also had sessions with some amazing mentors who came from a lot of different fields, Some help them with their presentation skills, some with the technology itself. So a big shout out to all of our mentors. Thank you so much. Now, we will be going to our pitches. So, participants, I hope you guys are ready. The first team to present again is Winehouse, but I also want to remind our second team, Team Sharkbait, to please prepare. So, Team Winehouse, you will have 5 minutes to pitch, and when you have 1 minute left, I will unmute myself and to make that little warning for you guys. And thank you so much to all the people in the chat who are saying good luck to the teams. Team Winehouse. Team Winehouse, please turn on your video so that you can have the spotlight for the Zoom.
Can you guys hear me?
Is Team Winehouse ready? Okay. Once your presentation starts, the 5 minute timer will start as well. So whenever you're ready.
Awesome, thanks. Hello, I'm Shane from Team Kaibi. We are an all-female team of engineers passionate about making our cities safer, especially for women. To start, this is my mom. And this is her friend Chris. They are both bike athletes. Not only that, they work together in a call center, which meant graveyard shifts and going home at a time when roads are empty and public vehicles are hard to come by. They did not want to waste several hours at the office waiting for the bus to come, so they started biking to work. Until Chris got into a road crash on his bike ride to work and died on the spot, leaving behind his wife and his 5-year-old son. This was a painful memory for my mom. She's a single mom with 2 kids, and this incident ultimately led her decision to stop biking on any city road altogether. And she became an advocate for bike safety ever since. The story of Chris and countless other road traffic victims inspired our team to tackle the problem on building a biker's tool with bike lane route recommendations and condition reporting system. We took it a step further and we performed text network analysis around bike safety in Metro Manila, and the results confirm that road crash remains a pressing concern in Manila. We want to explore the question, how can we help bikers make safer decisions about their mobility around Metro Manila? Introducing Kaibi. Kaibi is a bike safety mobile app that aims to crowdsource information about bike safety and the lack of it in city roads. At the core of the app, we have the bike safety audit, where users can contribute to a better understanding of the city roads by doing a bike safety audit through the app. The safety score is created on 9 bike safety audit parameters, including the presence of bike lanes, brightness of street lights, quality of bikeways, whether there's a sharp curve, whether there's a broken pavement, lighting, and traffic density. Our methodology involves collecting user-generated data from Kaibi, combine this with data from other map layers such as those available from Open Data Philippines, pictures taken from bike cams at nighttime, and we use these to train our machine learning model, which generates a safety score based on the road conditions on the trained dataset. All of these we use to create reports and urban models for decision makers. Here's a prototype of how we take photos along a bike route to be used as trained dataset for object detection, which generates a rating of physical bike safety audit parameters. So from bike safety analytics, we generate actionable insights that ultimately gives bikers a chance to give feedback and help the city government identify opportunities to improve road infrastructure. At scale, we aim to serve all 122 roads located in Metro Manila and a realistic estimate of 17 roads in Quezon City, which has been recorded to have the highest number of bikers on the road during the pandemic. We are Team Kaibi, supporting safer roads for urban bikers. For a quick demo, I could show you what we were able to build. We were able to build a working landing page. I could send you this on the chat. I could send you the link later. Another thing we built is this. Hold on, let me. Our bike safety analytics dashboard, where we are able to show a report of locations
We
and
have a little less
roads
than 1 minute.
and what the rating of each bike safety audit parameter is. So let's say you want to see Quezon City only. I would filter all of the information based on that. And we're also able to show a report from our, for the MVP, we web scrape data for roads along Metro Manila and generated dummy data for bike safety audit parameters. So we were able to create this MVP for bike safety analysis dashboard. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Ayan. Okay, so from the pitching video of our hackathon winner, ano yung mga naging takeaways nyo from this? What are your observations? Kitang-kita, kabado siya, pero prepared siya dun sa kanyang pitch, and the team was able to present all of the main points of their product. Ayan. So, I would like to hear from 5 people, at least 5 people of their comments after watching the video. Ayan. Sabi ni Jairon, sakit po nun, yung naging experience. Oo, yung story. See, ganun. That's how you do your pitch. Kung ano ba talaga yung purpose nyo, no? It's a very heartfelt, ano talaga, mahirap mag-focus. Ayan. How about the others? As in close to their heart talaga, and why they're creating this product. Ayan. Sa mga nagbabike dyan, ayan, you can check out Kaibi. Ayan, and always be safe in riding, especially in city streets, 'di ba? Ayan, how about the others? Sabi ni Ion, if I'm pronouncing it right, I think it's pressuring to pitch with a given time limit, especially if you want to discuss more data. Yes, it is definitely pressuring, pero we need to really put everything within the time limit. Ayan. That's why it's really best yung reports generation. It's precise. It's precise, simple, and easy to understand. Ayan. Just go straight to the point. Kasi I know definitely, of course, we want to present as much data as we want to really prove an effective way solution to these problems. Ayan. How about the others? Sabi ni Renz, a bit bitin po, but they presented their point po. Yes. Ayan. Based din sa mga inano ko kanina. Wait, let me go back. Ayan, dito sa 3 ways on how you can win. Any other takeaways from the video? Ayan. Let me know. I'm interested to learn from more people. Ayan, madami tayo dito. And feel free to share your insights. Ayan. How about the others? Okay. Anybody else? How about Sean Philip? Ayan. Mga hindi pa nag-chat dito. Ayan. Let's start from here. Sino pa? Ayan. Ralph. Ayan. May paparecite na si Atcha. Si Princess. Ayan. How about you guys? Anybody else? Aside dun sa, yun nga, yung mga answers dito, na breakdown naman nila, yung iba grabe, sila sa first part, sa story, na take sila doon, and yung si kay, naman is yung pressure sa time. Ayan, nabitin, si Renz. Anybody else? Ayan. I would like to hear from 2 more people before we proceed. Ayan. Because from your insights, I'll be guiding you then on how we can prepare for pitching? Sabi ni Megan, she was able to easily put the product into reality. Since yung introduction niya po, it can still happen to anyone. That's why her app's gonna be a big help sa safety ng mga cyclists. Yes, that's very true. Ayan. The goal is to maiwasan na mangyari na ulit. Ayan, nandun talaga yung purpose. And then may anonymous sender tayo. I think it's about the time. Ayun, yeah, yun yung talaga. Time is gold, di ba nga? Sabi ni Precious, kailangan po talaga pagkasya yung lahat ng data sa time limit. Ayan, very good guys. So let's proceed. So how did Winehouse win? So ito yung mga characteristics talaga that will guarantee you being successful and passing and winning this pitch. So it's all about, ang pinakauna sa lahat, passion. Panelists and juries needs to see that you're really passionate in what you are doing. And with that follows your advocacy. You are passionate in what for. And with that comes with inspiration. It can be from a smaller audience to a bigger crowd. It can be from your relatives. It can be from your friends. Saan ka humuhugot na inspirasyon? Or kung sa kape, para kay Nino ka bumabangon. Ayan. Kayo, saan ba kaya na-inspire? So yan, dyan niya siya i-identify when it comes to pitching. And of course, it doesn't end there. That's why naging successful yung pitching nila kasi they took this initiative. They're experiencing it, diba? So how are you going to do something about it? Is to take initiative by doing this product, ayan yung KIB, and so of course to create the solutions and create impact in helping, ayan yung vertical, which is smart cities, using technologies and other tools such as data analytics that help them solve further to para maiwasan na mangyari ulit yun sa ibang tao. So next is yung pitching framework. So ang naging from your comments, nakikita ko ang concerning talaga sa inyo is how are you going to fit everything to a limited amount of time. Well, of course, it's there are certain guidelines. Ayan, thank you. There are certain guidelines that you have to consider, which is, to so, syempre, present about the team, a brief description about the team. Ayan, tell your story. Ito yung naka-impact sa inyo and it shows it's really effective. And then the problem statement, your advocacy. Next is to present the data. Is it a pressing concern? And how are you going to create a solution? So there are different business models and you should be able to present your MVP or minimum viable product. And there, present the product, how it works, ayan, your prototype, the analysis, and the end goal. Ayan. So, getting ready with the questions, I have a video sana presenting nyo kung paano nila ginawa yung pag-answer ng questions. But you can check it on their page, Impact Hub. So, getting ready after the pitching is to know the main purpose, create a business, from the business model, recall, ano ba talaga yung target? It should be informative and straightforward. And of course, before you prepare to your pitching, don't be shy or hesitate to consult with your mentor. Ayan, yung video. And then from there, always take note of the recommendations kasi it can really help you improve further your product. Ayan. So, I'm almost at the end of my presentation. So, how can you create an impact? So as young technopreneurs and aspiring industry and professional leaders, I also would like to invite you in a talk this coming Saturday. Brian is actually one of the participants of Impact Hub. Although, ang naging story naman ni Brian is sumali sila, tapos yung team nila hindi nakaabot sa top 20. That time kasi hindi pa ako mentor. But now, look at him now. He is the co-founder and CEO of Pocket Devs. Ayan. So, on Saturday, we'll be sharing more of our experiences. So, I would just like to share na building a community is powerful. Kasi bakit mo, para saan pa yung pinipitch mo kung hindi mo naman mag-voice out there yung iyong product or iyong goal or iyong passion. So it's really important na hindi lang to focus on the technicalities but always on the yan nga, yung soft skills din. And communication talaga is very powerful and you can empower more people through community, sharing it to the community. And ayan, so that's what ayun yung specialization ko is community as a community manager. And ayan, building your startup is brave. Ayan, tulad ni Brian, and it's very inspiring yung story niya. And of course, persevering in your passion is all that it takes. As long as you want to do it, willing to do it, ayan, it will help you go a long ways. Ayan, may anonymous sender para sa Dragons din po na TV series. Ayan. Okay, I hope to see you on Saturday if you want to learn more and if you're planning to create your own startup soon. Ayan, and I shared din to Impact Hub yung naging takeaway ko din as a mentor on how I witnessed their journey din talaga within those 48 hours on those 5 verticals no last year. And what I said, it's amazing how uniquely and creatively we think to create solutions to these statements with the goal of creating impact to the world. They're really passionate and madami din doon, hindi tech students. Madami doon mga designers, mga marketing professionals, and it creates a community on solving a problem and creating impact in one goal. So, ayun siya. And ang maganda din sa pitching is you have this brand on how are you be able to really convey your message. And me, as a content creator, if you're going to see my social media platforms, I always, ang nakalagay dito doon is, help me help you. Ayan, I would also like to know your first impression when you see or hear the word, help me help you. Ano yung naging impact niya whenever you hear this statement? Ayan, feel free to chat din. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the saying, help me help you? Ayan. Sabi ni Jayron, if you help me, I will help you. Okay, this is a good impression. How about the others? Sabi ni Sal, let's help each other. Para po talaga sa general public yung pitch niya. Ayan, unity. How about the others? Ayan, very good guys. Sustainable community building and supporting each other, give and take. Ayan. Yung iba pa, how about the others? We're 100 here. Andiyan pa ba kayo? Anonymous sender, everything you do to others, parang may babalik din po sa'yo. Yes, it's, hindi tayo mag-isa dito. And with your teammates, with your business mates, with your business partners, tulungan siya. Meron pang anonymous. You can help yourself if you're not allowing yourself to be helped by others. Yes, that's a good perspective. That's why, good insights, guys. And all of those really fit into my advocacy is social participation. So my goal is to help each other, then help me learn, I'll help you learn. That's why I always say, help me help you. Ayan, almost at the end. So with that, I'm also would like to show you more opportunities that can help you build more solutions to these problems with Amazon Web Services.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AWS Club Pilipinas 2018.
There's a huge long line of people all waiting to join the day one of registration.
Ayan.
A lot of really good ideas don't need to be overcomplicated. So simplify them and take that invention to innovation really quickly.
Alexa, turn on the TV.
This is the first time that we have created a program that incorporates content, hands-on labs, hackathon, and eventually ending up on day 4, a job fair for all of you.
What's actually happening here is that we're running the AWS Game Day. This is a gamified hackathon.
Ayan, so maliban sa inaabangan yung mga free giveaways and incentives at Siklab Pilipinas, since medyo konting back to normal na din tayo, hopefully we can also have these face-to-face bootcamps. But right now, we currently have a free coding bootcamp din and mentoring sessions for AWS. If you haven't heard of AWS, it is a cloud platform that provides services. Ayan, if you're want to create your own startup or want to create your product, you can have your product on the cloud using Amazon Web Services. Ayan. And currently, later we'll be having an event about Amazon Inspector. Ayan. In here we have free events that can help you learn more of the services tailor fit to your needs. Ayan, and your products. Ayan. We always have free events, so you can check it out on our Facebook page at AWS Siklab Pilipinas. Yan. And in here, here's experience from one of the attendees.
My name is Edward Likwong. I'm 21 years old. Every day, I wake up at 4 so I can avoid the rush hour traffic. I leave at 5 and usually arrive in the office at 7 in the morning. My commute usually takes 2 hours to go to office and back home. The commute back home is actually harder as you are already tired from a full day of work. Our mom worked abroad because of the lack of money. We only visited our father every other weekend, so we live with our aunt. I found out about the AWS Club because our professor posted it on our group chat. AWS Club helped me be a step closer to my dreams. It led me to my current job that would hopefully give our family a better and happy life.
StrapPoint is a software development company. We help enterprises build great software, and we also help them in their digital transformation. One of the things that we were really looking for was someone who already had experience in serverless. And Edward, from his internship with another company, had a serverless development experience already in AWS.
At AWS Club, we were given lectures by people flown from different parts of the world. The last day was what all fresh grads were waiting for. Imagine looking for a job and then being in a room full of opportunities. IT gives so much opportunity and reward those who are willing to learn. It also aligns with my dreams to invent and make something great. To all aspiring IT professionals, the secret is to learn, learn, and learn. Work hard and don't stop until your dreams become your reality. I am Edward Likwong, 21 years old. a junior software engineer at StratPoint Technologies Inc., training to be a DevOps specialist. My dream is to ultimately contribute something great. I want to be somebody.
Ayan. Okay. So, ayan, that ends my presentation and I'm looking forward to your future startups and success on your pitches. And with that, I'd also like to hear a feedback from you. So I'll be chatting my link. Wait, let me check. Ayan, ito ang aking feedback link. And if you want to, feel free to suggest din if there are topics that you'd like me to discuss. Ayan, you can scan the QR code or send your feedback here. Let me know how I did and if you would love to learn more about anything in tech. Ayan. Thank you guys. And ayan, here are my events this coming March. Since it's Women's Month, ayan, happy Women's Month, guys. You can also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I'll be also on 18 teaching about Figma and other non-technical talks about my experience as a woman in tech. Ayan. And thank you for your time. Ayan, thank you, guys.
Ayan, all right. We are very glad that we got to hear your talk po today, Miss Atcha. Like, grabe, within less than an hour, ang dami ko nang nabaon na learnings. And, ano ba, sasabihin ko na ba yung learning ko ngayon? naunang sabi. Well, for me, Miss Atcha gave me the enlightenment na we should prevent ourselves from getting too defensive in defending the worth of our product. Instead, focus more on being able to connect and aid other people. Ayan. So, ikaw, Bobogs?
For me naman, I don't think very timely din since siguro one of the takeaway ko sa talk ni Ms. Abe is keep it simple with impact. Ayan, since currently I'm participating also a hackathon then tomorrow yung featuring. So this is very useful talaga for tomorrow. Ayan, so wish me luck, guys. Anyways, that's true. Ayan, pitching and presenting.
Good luck.
Ayan, and presenting is actually nerve-wracking and overwhelming at the same time. But we hope, guys, with the talk of Ms. Abe, ayan, so I hope madami kayo natutunan ng mga tips and tricks to make a winning pitching deck. Ayan, presentation. Ayan. All right. And now, guys, so our audience who would like to ask their question to Ms. Athena, our floor is now open. So feel free to open your mics or chat in the chat box your questions, and we will read it out for Ms. Athena. Ayan, guys. So it's your time to ask your questions to Ms. Athena. Yes. Ayan, don't miss this opportunity. Ayan, miss na lang natin makasama si Ms. Athena. Ayan.
It's your time to shine, guys.
Alright.
Ayan.
Okay. So, ayan, meron from Anonymous. Ayan, from Ion. Ayan, so to Ms. Athena, ayan, what was your startup story and what was your inspiration for it? Ayan, very a good question.
Ayan, startup story. Anong type of startup ba ito? I don't have my own startup pa, guys. But I think I would start with answering the question on kung paano ko, how would I say, on how I became an IT professional as a student. So maybe I would start with that, and especially sharing with you my journey is because I pitched my passion. I really love to teach. I really love to share the knowledge, and I really love to empower fellow students. Kasi it's really true hearing from industry leaders that learning never stops. And as students, 'di ba, nakakatakot ma-realize na hindi mo daw magagamit yung natutunan mo. Hindi naman yun yung naging experience ko as an application analyst, as I was able to really apply at my work yung mga fundamentals, mga data structures, algorithms, mga ganyan. Kasi these are the fundamental knowledge that we really need. However, ang point doon is to learn more, experience more, practice more, and that helped me, no, as a student while doing my thesis, is to really go out there, join communities, upskill, apply what I have learned, and from there I was able to really reach out to these communities from different universities and companies that enabled me, diba? That's why I say to them, help me help you. I am able to help these people by really, sharing the knowledge. So, ayun talaga yung, I think, naging startup journey ko as a content creator din. So, I also do not talk, yung channel ko kasi, if you're going to, subscribe na kayo, Atcha Abe, you're going to see my videos. They're not all technical. I also do entertainment. Nag-gaming din ako. I do different tutorials, educational and entertainment. Kasi, that's ganun ako as Atcha. So, yun yung parang naging startup, yung branding per se, personal brand ko. So, yun siya. Ayan, thank you for that question.
Right, ayan, I think Ms. Athena, everyone can relate here because we parang lahat tayo we have our own story. Ayan. So I think ito ma'am, personal question ayan. Since na-observe din namin sa mga kapatid din namin mga co-students is when they heard the word hackathon, parang lahat sila natatakot despite of they have this idea. So parang can you clarify to them parang why they shouldn't be afraid of hackathon? Ayan, since everyone is parang natatakot agad sumali sa mga ganitong hackathons. Ayan po.
Ayan, I can go on and on about the why you should join hackathons. And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel if you want to learn more. I have an interview with a co-mentor. But to answer your question, when you hear the word hackathon, it's definitely intimidating. But to give you a background, you don't need to have a strong programming background. Take note then that this depends on the hackathon that you are joining kasi some have technical hackathons and some are really tulad nung from what I am mentoring is Impact Hub. They're also encouraging other professionals to join from there. Kasi why you don't need really strong background in programming is that you have a team that you can collaborate and you from there dun nyo kasi nababalance yung strengths and weaknesses nyo. Meron doon, meron kayong programmer, meron kayong designer, meron kayong marketer, and madaming different fields. And that's why with hackathons, aside from the experience, no, you'll be able to build new relationships. Baka doon yun na mahanap yung dawa niya. Pero baka, that's a way for you then to expose yourself to these different industries, to these different backgrounds, on how are you be able to combine all of your skills into creating this product.
Alright, ayan. Thank you, Miss Athena. So I think doon din papasok yung help me, help you, ayan, as you work as a team in hackathon. Right, Megan?
Yeah, so kasi ako I think I was one of those people that were intimidated din by the term hackathon. So with what Miss Atcha said, partner, na-assure niya ako na there are different variations ng hackathon. Ang dami mo naman talagang pwedeng maambag apart from being too technical about it.
Ayan, and also, I think you can actually gain connections during hackathons. Ayan.
Yeah.
So, all right. Once again, thank you so much, Miss Athena, for answering our questions. Ayan. So, I think I will be ending our Q&A here. But if you, to our audience, if you would like to reach out to us more questions, I think linag na ni Ms. Atcha yung kaniyang mga social media. Ayan, so maybe you could reach her through his social media. All right. So, Megan.
All right, ayan. So, Miss Athena Atcha Abe, we must move forward na to our certificate of appreciation. Okay. So, to express our appreciation for giving us your time today, we would like to give you this certificate of appreciation. Allow me to read the citation of the certificate. In grateful acknowledgement and sincere appreciation for imparting valuable insights and knowledge As a resource speaker during Ask Explore, pitching and presentation must have skills in the new normal. Given this 10th of March 2022 via Zoom video conference, signed by Tricia Doreen G. Relox, ASTI's Vice President and Project Head, and Engineer Kennedy P. Limbo, our ASTI Advisor. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Athena.
Thank you so much. And guys, let's give Miss Athena a virtual round of applause here in Zoom, Ayan, for sharing imparting his knowledge and experience with us. All right. And Ma'am Abe, ayan, may request to have a photo of with you kasama ating mga participants, ayan, to make this webinar more memorable for them, ayan. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Alright, ayan guys, sa ating mga audience participants here in Zoom, ayan, kindly open your cameras. Ayan, kahit wala pa yung ligo, mga bagong gising, okay lang yan guys. Minsan lang tayo
mahiya, guys.
Really, ayan, minsan tayo makapag-picture.
Ang cute pa rin naman kayo.
Yes, alright. So, organizers, can you assist us for the photo op?
Yes.
So, I think we can remove muna yung ating share screen so we could have a full gallery view ng ating mga audience. Ang ating 162. Ayan, grabe. Ang dami.
Grabe, sobrang dami natin ngayon, partner.
Yeah.
Ay, meron.
Anyway, ganun sila ka-interesado talaga when it comes to about mga startups and technopreneurship.
Yeah.
Alright, ayan guys, open your cameras. Alright, so siguro kami nalang magbibilang, and since we have, I think, 11 pages, so dito natin matetest yung pagiging yung mannequin nyo. So kailangan naka-stop lang kayo for a while doing your best smile. All right? So guys, so ready na tayo, organizers? Ayan. Pahinging aming mga boss.
Mga boss?
All right, Gina daw. Okay guys, and a count of 3, show your beautiful smile. And a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Ayan, yan. Stick lang, smile. Okay, next page. Alright, ayan kami lang magsasabi ni Megan if tapos na. Organizers do inform us. Ay, nakakangalay naman talaga mag-photo op. Alright.
Okay na po ba?
Organizers? Alright, then once again, thank you so much, Ms. Atcha, and to our audience right now. Alright. Ayan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Ayan. See you on your mga upcoming events for this March. All right.
All right. Well, grabe, again, partner. Sobrang enlightening ng talk ng ating first speaker, no?
Yes, partner. Guarantee naman na pati yung mga, kitang-kita naman sa mga smile ng ating audience na sila din, madami din talaga natutunan, and mas na-inspired sila maging proactive when it comes to this kind of opportunity and technopreneurship.
Totoo, partner. Kasi, I feel like super necessary yung gantong topic ni Miss Athena kanina. How to win. How to have a winning pitch.
Yes, exactly, Megan. So parang what's idea if you cannot pitch it, diba? Okay. Alright, so let's proceed, Megan.
Okay, sige. Ayan. So now, it is the time to meet our second speaker, guys. So for our... Ayan, sorry for my doggy. Ayan, so for our next speaker, she will be discussing the art of selling your products. Ayan, pero bago natin ipakilala ang next speaker natin, we wanna know, guys, since kaka-picture lang natin kanina, baka humiganta kayo kagad, we wanna know if you are still here. So, ngayon naman, please type 2 sa ating chat box to show your excitement for our next speaker.
Ayan. Please type 92. And guys, don't forget to use our official hashtag. We will be sharing your experience with us with our webinar with our official hashtag #AskTheExplore and #BeAsTip. Ayan, partner, I think wag natin patagalin pa. Mukhang excited na talaga silang ma-meet din, especially me, ang ating next speaker. So, ayan. So, let's move on to our next speaker. So our next speaker is Miss Sab Quinones. Calls herself as a slashy. She dabbles into design, strategy, and some other things in between. She co-founded Curator Capital, a startup branding and content production studio. She is also a partaker of Sadie's, actively working as its marketing and creative director. Sadie's is a 3, brand focus on mastering food and its simplest yet finest potential.
All right, so everyone, once again, guys, here to discuss the art of selling your products, not only to help you avoid the common mistakes in the process of pitching and presentation, but also to help you get prepared. So let us give it up for Miss Sab Quinones. Ayan. Good afternoon, Miss Sab.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ayan, I think nakamute po kayo, ma'am.
Yes po.
Ayan.
Hello? There?
Ayan, ma'am. We can hear you now.
Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah, so how are you naman po today, ma'am?
I'm okay. I hope you guys are okay. I think you've been here since 2.
Yes, yung mga ganung time po actually. But yeah, ma'am, we are no longer gonna waste your time. So Miss Sab Quinones, the virtual floor is now yours.
All right. Let me. Okay. I think I'm sharing it properly. Okay, so I guess they have introduced me, but let me again introduce myself in a more um in a different way. So I guess I'm Sab. Nice to meet you all. And like all of you here, I am interested in learning. And events like this excite me because this is a way for us to exchange information, and it's also a way for me to share with you the knowledge that I've accumulated over the past couple of years working in startups also, and also starting my own. And so let me begin by sharing with you a story. This is Pierre, and the year is 2009. So Pierre was traveling around around Asia when he experienced a problem. He just took too many photos and there was no convenient way for him to organize them. And I guess just like anybody here, he thought that he would build the solution for his problem. And so he decided, okay, I will build the solution. And the vision for it really is he wanted to help people organize their memories. So he thought of creating an app that would organize all of the photo libraries into a rich interface that you could access, whether you're on desktop or you're in phone, so it's on the cloud. And Pierre was excited because he believed in this product, and he talked to a couple of investors, venture capitalists, and they were also in it. They believe in the product, and he actually closed funding, and he was able to raise and seed his business and raise around $1.8 million. And then another 500K later on. And so with the money that they have raised, Pierre and his team spent the next year and a half perfecting the product, going through the design thinking process of empathizing, everything that the previous speakers have taught you. And they went on the reiteration and optimizing of the product for the next year and a half. They've also allocated around 1.4 million of the budget, which is roughly almost 80% of the current funding, into building the perfect product. However, stories like this does not end with a happy ending. Money started to run out. So again, after a year and a half, they launched their product, and soon after, they found themselves in trouble. They couldn't acquire the right amount of users to use their product, which could be a good case for Pierre and his team to go through another round of fundraising to continue with their operations. Because to give you, I guess, more overview in this, the bill to host the cloud, or like the images in itself, was around $35,000 a month, and that's money that they just couldn't burn at that stage. And so just 2 years after the ideation, Pierre and his team had to close down the business. So what went wrong? I guess with situations like this, there are a couple of things that went wrong, but I want to focus on two things which would be key to what we would be discussing today. One was they spent too much time perfecting the product. They went through a year and a half of design thinking and spending so much of their resources on perfecting the product that they were not, number two, able to allocate money to spend on marketing or selling their product. And while I believe that allocating resources for the development team and also for the product designers is super important, I guess as an entrepreneur or somebody managing this, it's important that you budget it to make sure that the operation sustains and that the product that you have designed could be really used and could be further optimized. And this story, how I wish it was fiction, is actually a real story. The company is called Everpix, and if you would search it now, I think you would be able to find their site, and they just have a goodbye message, if you would see it. And so this is Everpix. Mind you, this was designed in the year 2011, the year where we don't have a lot of photo storage apps as we do today. And so when they started to pitch this idea, actually in 2011, they landed a spot on the 500 Startups Accelerator program, and they saw a good conversion rate, which did not yield to money, sadly. And so that's, again, another part of the reasons why they have failed. And so I'm sharing this story to you because I want you to know that building a great product is important, but it is only one of the building blocks in business. That is why today I will discuss a couple of things. And I wanted to share this with you because I want you to know exactly what you will be taking home from me today. So first would be setting up your systems and optimizing your user experience, which I would just briefly talk about because this would bridge us to our main topic, which is selling your product or service. Next would be just a bonus would be more of like conditioning your mind, maybe some tips, and maybe you could ask me some questions later on how you should think about your product and your business as an entrepreneur or as a product designer. All right. So you went through the design thinking process. You had a couple of sessions already about what you should do. You already created your product. Now what? Interesting question, right? And the answer to that would really vary depending, I guess, on where you are and what the situation is. One situation could be that you and your friends now have created a product and you think it's ready to launch as a business and you want to be co-founders in it and you want to raise capital for it. That's one route. That's the next step for that. Another could be you think that the product could be very helpful and could be used by a different company and you want to sell it to them. That's also a good route to take. This would just mean you have to make sure that you know your rights under the Creative Commons and you also read through patenting your intellectual property. Another route could also be if you are working for a company, you're working for a startup and it's part of the products that would be in line for production next, right? So those are the different routes. But now what? I think some people would believe that the next step really is for you to pitch your idea, which could be true, but I would argue that it's important for you first to set up the systems and optimize your user experience. And I'm sure other speakers in the past have talked about optimizing user experience, everything that you need to know about it. So I won't tackle much about that, but I'll just talk you through the essence and what should be the thinking through it. So setting up your systems is basically answering the questions, how do I deliver the product to my target audience? So I'm sure when you design your product, you think about already how you get them to experience from end to end. But I just want to reiterate this again, because you have to think through how they meet your product at the beginning, whether let's say it's an app, how they sign up for your product, how they get confirmed membership, do they get an email and all that. There are different steps. And when they don't purchase or anything, what would be the next interaction with your brand up until post-purchase care. Something that I guess is super essential, especially when it would be your product that you're selling if it's your business, and would also be essential if you are the lead product designer or the lead product manager managing this product. Aside from this though, because I'm sure user experience and thinking through how your user would really use your product is one of the core things that you would think about while designing your product. It's super important that you also understand how each of the steps would affect the team's workload. So if you are, again, working for a company, you would have a team and you would have different departments that would be affected with your work, because everything in a company is interrelated. So you would have to think if the product that you created would need more operational resources, if you need a few more days to train these people, if your current system if this would change the current system that your ops team are already aware of, if you need to tap a sales team, if you need to talk to finance and request budget to have incentives to get your sales team to work, and at what point do you have to start briefing your marketing team for it to launch, because I'm sure they are also following their own timelines that you have to give it to them a month earlier and all that. So these things you have to think through. And you might be wondering, I'm a product designer, why should this concern me? And I get it. Most people, I guess, in organizations would have a certain task assigned to them and they would do exactly that. And there are other people also concerned with it. But if you are a product designer, your products, you should know, are meant to be experienced by human beings. And they are meant to be worked on by human beings. And so thinking about how they would use it from end to end, thinking about all the possible failures that it might come across with as it is being used in production is super essential for you to be able to see your vision in reality. And so I guess if you were to pick anything out from me today, this early, I would want you to remember that whatever product you are designing, it's designed for human beings and it's designed to be used and to be operated by humans. And so you have to ensure that your systems and processes are designed with them in mind. So don't be afraid to optimize your design, ask for feedback. We really don't get it right the first time around. And so now that we have gotten that, I've gotten that off my chest, we're now gonna talk about the fun part. We have, again, to summarize, we have bridged the gap between product ideation and your product launch, which is very pahapyo pa lang for now, but we could talk about that later if you have other questions. But now let's talk about the good part. How do you sell your products and services? This might come as a shock to you, but there was a time before you and I when there was no internet, when there were no phones, when there were no laptops, where there were no radios, and our ancestors would spend their days sitting in front of the fire, exchanging stories with one another. They would talk about, for example, person A here would tell this person that the other day they went 3 miles down south and saw a flower or a plant, and his brother took a bite of it and he fell and died. And that was how human beings in the past survived, through exchanging stories and telling one another about what they have experienced. They could also talk about the river or the body of water that they found up north and how they could go there to bathe and to drink water. And so again, it all boils down to stories and how exchanging stories have been crucial in our evolution as human beings to survive. As the narrative theory of communication tells us, human beings are storytelling animals. And so everything that we do, everything that we experience, stories are within. Whether it is us dining with our friends or our families, we exchange stories. We exchange stories. Whether it's you taking a break from the day, playing a game, it's still a story of somebody, of whoever wins and whoever loses, and it's a story of an adventure that your protagonist, your hero, would go through. You would go to your bed, watch television or watch Netflix on your phone. You would still consume a story. Everything we experience are stories. And so brands, I guess, would have to look for their stories when selling their products. If you were to pitch your product, you have to find the story of your product. But the question is, how do you find your story? There are a lot of ways which I sadly could not tackle all, but I will share with you a few ways which I know based on experience and based on the expertise that I've built in the past few years. One is building your brand identity system. So it might be that you are again working for a company and the brand identity is already built. That would just mean that you have to familiarize yourself with what the branding is. Or you could either be the entrepreneur who starts this up and you have to build your own brand identity system. I have encountered a lot of people who would talk of branding as if it's just the logo or the color that you use or the fonts that you have selected. However, let me share with you today the work that goes in building your brand identity system. So a brand identity system is very holistic. The logo, the font, and color is just a part of it. It's the visual identity design. So in a brand identity system, there's your brand voice. You have to understand who your competitors are for you to be able to understand how you're going to position yourself in the market. You have to know who your target audience are, and you have to tie it into how you design your brand visually, how you converse with them. And internally within your business, it's understanding how the culture would work, the behavior, understanding the mission, vision, and the values of business. This is important when understanding your story, especially as a brand, as a business, as a product designer, because this is a way for you to connect with your audience. Visual language itself, right? How you speak to them, who you should be speaking to, and who are you up against is super important for you to weave a story that's strategic that would help you win them. And so now that, let's say, for example, you've already created your brand identity system, it's done. You have familiarized yourself with the brand identity system of the business or the corporation, company, startup you are working with. Another thing that you could do is keep on asking why. And I know this might be very basic, but sometimes we do things without knowing our why, or sometimes we just forget about why we're doing it in the first place, as we have done a lot of optimizations. As we've gone through the process a few times, we might be forgetting our why. And so it's just important that as product designers, you remember what is your why. And so this is Simon Sinek's golden circle. Simon Sinek, I'm not sure if you know him, but I think you should look him up if you don't. So he is an author and also a public speaker. And in one of his talks, he discussed how he has always been fascinated with inspirational speakers, leaders, and tried to digest and like dissect how they talk about their business and how they inspire. And one thing that he found in his research was most people would just usually talk about their what they're doing and how they're solving the problem, which is your what and your how. But for most of these inspiring leaders, they would start with their why and then talk about the how and the what. So a good example for this is Apple. So typically, people would just say, if we were to follow the typical formula, people would just say, we make good computers, they're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? I think about it. But if you were to follow how inspiring leaders would talk about their brand or their business, this is an example that he gave. So for Apple, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. That's their why. That is the way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. That's their how. And we just happen to make great computers. That's their what, right? And what I want you to take home from this is when you create things, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's why a lot of marketing campaigns that you would see that are successful are campaigns that don't just feature about the features and the benefits of their products, but their why, the advocacy behind what they do, and just the core of why they exist. And so you have to remember that if you want to sell your product, because you already have a great product, all you have to do is convince other people of the thing that you also believe in. So now that you know your story, let's say you have already designed your brand identity system, you kind of sort of, figured out your why, and you figured out how it should be phrased properly. How do you now tell your story? Let me share with you how I usually strategize omnichannel marketing strategies. So I would go through these different things. These are the different elements that I think about in every post that I create for clients or for brands that I work with. And it's also what I think through when I create campaigns. So I think about the content pillar. Content pillars are usually set up beforehand. And again, this is in line with the brand and in line with the business objectives for the next couple of months. Or if for you, for example, if it's a hackathon, what is your objective for this? So the content pillars that are usually used are brand related, educational, promotional, community, sharing about what the community is doing. Next would be setting up your content objective. For the content objective, these are your awareness, interest, and consideration objectives. This would also guide you in terms of tonality, how you will speak to them, and how should your tone be. Should you be more friendly? Should you be more salesy and all that? And then your segmentation. Usually, if we use social media marketing, you would target usually who you could target with your following, right? And with the ads. But if we do ads, it's usually interest targeting and also remarketing using your current set of data to target similar users or people. Yeah. Next is the key message, the essence of what you want to tell them. So this is again tied to what your objective is in the next few months, or for, let's say, again, it's a hackathon. What do you want to tell your investors? What do you want to tell the audience? It's the essence. And then for channel, this might not be very useful for the hackathon if you guys would want to learn more about that. But these are more used when you have your own business or if you work in marketing. You have to identify the channel that you want to talk about, that you want to use to tell this message to, right? And each of the channels have their own attributes, um, have their own attributes. So if it's Instagram feed, it's IG stories and all that. If it's in the app, in-app prompts, whether when they open the app for the first time, whether they open up for the app for the third time of the day, or if they close the app, all of these are channels. And then for the CTA, this is mostly also linked to your objective and your content pillar. If you want them to, if it's educational, if you would want them to read more and visit a link, they want to order now or avail an offer you have if it's promotional. So these are the things that I usually think through whenever I post anything, whenever I design content. And these are the things that help me strategize to ensure that I achieve the target that I want, whether it's to just get them interested and to engage with me, or if I want them to convert. So I wanted to share with you how you could also think about your marketing funnel. So again, the application of this is if you would say, for example, have launched your startup, let's say you have launched your app, and you want to start acquiring your audience, your users. You have to think about it in the funnel. So you have your top of funnel, the people you want to get in. And you would here generally have to create your campaigns that is targeted to just get them interested and to get them to learn more about you. And this is some sample channels that you could use. But again, each of these would be dependent on the type of product and the type of market you're selling to. Next would be, I guess, after the top of funnel, let's say you have gathered enough people that is interested in your product. It's now time to like push them down and get them to consider you on the next time they open your app or the next time they visit your Instagram page or whatever channel you are in. So these are more of your nurturing type, getting them to become part of the community, engaging with them, giving them information which they would find value in. And then lastly would be your bottom of funnel. This is where they would have, this is where your loyal customers would be in. So at the bottom of the funnel, this is where you would have to think about retention strategies as well. And so this might, for now, look very basic. It has 3 parts. But as you mature in business and as you mature in your product, this would start to break down into multiple layers, which again would just help you further push down your users, your audience based on their needs at the moment. So I wanted to share a bit about how I would target my audience. If I am going to target my audience for social media or like on Facebook, I would usually upload a CSV remarketing and like target similar audiences. But if let's talk about in the app. Let's say you have an app and you want to target your current audience. So how I usually do this is I would create a hypothesis based on the data that I have seen. So if I have seen, I guess, a lot of recurring purchases from people who has purchased in the past 3 months, I would have a hypothesis that they are most likely to convert versus those who have purchased in the past 6 months. And between 4 to 6 months ago, I'm sorry. And so how I would go about this is I would break this segment into 2, and I would control all other variables, and I'd run the campaign for the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks and try to look at the data to understand if my hypothesis is correct. Another way to go about it is I would design a segment around the funnel. So again, you have your funnel, right? And I would just create like a macro funnel, which would just allow me to isolate behaviors based on their activity. So let's say you have a new user, people who have signed up from day 1 to day 30, you have your active users. They would only graduate from being a new user to an active user after day 30 of the sign up and purchase 1 to 4 items, and they would only become a loyal customer if they have signed up for more than 30 days, so maturity, and purchase if they have purchased more than 5 items. And I would also have a segment of my dormant users, which are people who have signed up in the past 30 days and have purchased 0 items. Again, this would be dependent on the data that you have and would be dependent on the hypothesis that you have. Yeah. And how I go about this is I would have campaigns for each of the segment to get them to do the action which I intend them to do, whether it is to, if it's an app, whether it's to open the app at least once every day, or whether it's to purchase once a week, or whether it's to increase their basket size, or which means for them to just purchase more items from me, or whether I want to penetrate a specific category. And so again, all of these strategies would be dependent on how you want to go about it. I know I went too deep into more segmented funnels, and you might be wondering, what if I just have to stand on a stage and pitch my product or service? And my answer is simple, really, and we have discussed the essence of this earlier. All you have to do is tell your story. But again, of course, before that, you have to do your research to know who you are talking to. You need to practice your piece. And lastly, you have to learn every piece, every detail of your product and your service. That is why earlier I was discussing how you should be more informed about what your systems are, how it affects the different people in the team. Because the more that you know about this, the more that you know about your product, the more that you're in there, the more that you will believe in your product, because you're the one who have been optimizing your product. And then the next part is just telling your story. It's just figuring out, again, what's your brand story, figuring out your why, and telling them. And so, yeah, it's just that. Before I end this, I just want to share a few images which helps me condition the mind. These are images that I just found on the internet, which I found super helpful, especially if you are somebody who is a perfectionist, who is afraid to get your work or product out there because you think it's not perfect, or you're just afraid to like be vulnerable in front of an audience, in front of investors, in front of people you don't know. So here, so the difference of action and planning, consistency, shiny objects, progress, perfection, how one big goal can be broken down into tiny steps, and what we're missing out if we keep on thinking what we want to do instead of just saying yes to it and just doing it and iterating in the process. And then the many mistakes you make before you get it right, what the reason why you really procrastinate, the mountains of no's that you have to sit through to get your yes, and the journey that you actually go through, whether it is in your career or whether you are a business owner trying to make it, right? People would just see you being there, and they don't know all the downs and all of the failures that you had to experience just to be where you are. And so again, if you were to take anything from my talk today, it's really that whatever you are designing, remember that you are human. Remember that the people who would use it, they're also human. And things like this, they take time to build. So be kind to yourselves. Yeah, that ends my talk.
Ayan. So, thank you very much for that aesthetic, yet at the same time, really, really enlightening talk, Miss Sab Quinones. And we are so honored that we got to listen to your talk today. Kasi as an aspiring technopreneur, after hearing po what Miss Sab quoted earlier, partner, na people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I think after hearing that, parang may nag-on na light bulb sa taas ng, ng ulo ko. And that also we have to consider a lot of factors in selling our products kasi those factors build our branding. Well, how about you, partner?
Ayan. Megan, I agree with you naman when it comes to branding. Parang it's not actually how you build your branding, but it's about why you are building your branding. So parang doon na papasok yung story. So parang it's a great anchor for building a product, a services is why. So why you doing it? Because if you're just doing for you don't have the strong passion to do it, parang you get burnt out and parang masasayang lang yung effort. So parang and like on the screen, great things take time to build. So don't be pressured and just think a great why you should build your branding on only not just on the product branding on any other projects that na ating mga audience would have in the future. Ayan, what a great story and a presentation from our Miss Sab for sharing about the marketing. Ayan, so guys, ayan, I know everyone is really excited to ask other questions to Miss Sab about it. So the floor is now open, so kindly chat on the Zoom chat box. All right, ayan. So Megan.
Yes. Para naman mas masulit natin ang time ni Miss Sab for today. Ayan, guys. Do you have any questions for Miss Quinones?
Alright, I think Megan may send agad sa atin kanina ng chat, so baka nahiya lang. So let's leave it lang. So we have one question, and Miss, based from the problem encountered on the story from the start of the talk, do you know any local or international organization and institutions that starting or aspiring innovators could approach for sponsorship and marketing? And so maybe investors or someone they could get in touch with if they want to create, I think, a branding. So I don't know yung question.
I'm sorry. The question is,
do you know any international organizations or community that they could reach out if they want to really pursue the marketing or their products? So more on resources, ma'am, I think.
actually, I don't. I'm sad that I don't. But what I personally did in the past was I am a generally curious person. So if I meet anybody which is interesting for me, I would ask them questions which I think would help me get a peek of their mind. So for example, I would have chats with this if I would have opportunities to chat with the CEO of the company I'm working with, I would ask them about the story, why they started the business, and what were their challenges, and that would give me ideas on how I could build out my own as well. So I guess I'm sad that there are no organizations that I personally know of, but if you were to again take anything from me, just use the network that you have, talk to them. I'm sure anybody that you would talk to would be very open and interested to sharing the knowledge that they have.
Alright, thank you, Miss Sab. Ayan, tama naman, utilize your connection. Ayan, yung mga friends nyo. So, parang, kumbaga, meron nga po tayong kasabi na parang your network is your network. So, ayan. So, use your connection, Mega.
Totoo. We always, I think important factor yun in our everyday life that we are always wanting to connect sa ibang tao. Kasi those people are always gonna give you something new to learn from. And yeah, for that, Miss Sab, for our first question, I think nasagot niyo na po ng sobra-sobra. So, let's move forward for our second question. Meron na po kasing mga set of questions dito. Or ano ba, partner? Meron palang...
Ayan, meron sa ating Zoom chat box. Ayan.
Sige, i-prioritize natin si Mr. Sam. Ayan. For Mr. Sam's question, paano naman po pag non-tangible yung product? Does this also apply?
Yeah, so if you mean by non-tangible, this is service-related products. Right? Did I get that right, Sam? So these would be, I guess, if you are either a graphic designer or you're a product developer who is looking to work independently. Is that correct? I would assume that it's correct. Okay. So if you are a person who is offering your services, what would really distinguish you from other people doing the same would be how you would package yourself and how you would package your service and how people or your clientele would be able to experience you. So to give you a brief idea on how we do it at Curator Capital, because Curator Capital is a non-tangible product, if you may, it's mostly creating your brand identity, which I think at the end would be tangible, right? But at the beginning, it's an intangible product, which we are marketing. So given that, how we go about it is we have our set of processes, which you would, in technical terms, in an app would say user experience, would be the customer experience. So when they meet us, they would have like a discovery call. We use a calendar booking event, which is Calendly, for them to be able to just book anytime they want to book a call with us. And then after that, there would be a discovery call just to see if we are what they need and if we are able to provide the services that they are looking for. After that, they would have a portal which we created for them to see in one space all of the project updates, the invoice, everything in one space, a portal for them. And then after that would be our systems to ensure that they could give us feedback and we follow their feedback, and also to give them at the end a turnover of the product. Sorry. So for tangible, non-tangible products, the type of rigor should be kept. You should also think through, I guess, the process that your customers, your clients, your users would be able to experience. And also you have to take into consideration how the team you're working with will be using this systems. And again, branding, and also like how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors.
Oh,
You're welcome.
Ayan, thank you for giving your thought on that question, Ms. Sab. Partner, I think we have 2 more questions. Or for our audience here today, meron ba kayong mga katanungan dyan for Ms. Sab?
Siguro, ayan, while waiting, ayan, I'll take this opportunity, ma'am. Ayan. So maybe this is not a question, but maybe I would like to seek an advice, since our group, so we're starting create a startup, and then we already have this strong why we are pushing this project, but upon consulting, parang this why the problem we're solving is too much to solve, and we have a lot of competitors outside. And right now we are now clueless on what will be our next step. Shall we look for another story or another why that we would like to push, or we can do something that is still be useful with our why? And so I hope you get my question.
Yeah. So the problem is, if I were to summarize, is that you were building a solution for a problem, but you were told that the problem was too big to solve by your single solution.
Yes,
and
yes.
you have a lot of competitors in the field.
Yeah, no, exactly. No.
Yeah. Okay. So, completely my opinion. Okay. So how I would go about this is, if your solution is too big, break it down and then create solutions for the breakdown of each. And one of the best practices that I learned from Grocery, because I also work in a tech startup in the local scene, is that when you think of your business and when you think of a solution, you have to think of the different ways your solutions could scale in the future. So say, for example, a really good use case is Grocery, and it's one of the amazing brands that I've worked with. And they initially launched as an app to enable sari-sari stores, enable tinderos to double their income, right? It's an amazing why. And how they do it is they would have an app where tinderos could just easily use, and they could purchase the products at a distributor price or even less So this cuts the middle person and it's delivered to them for free. So wala na yung hassle of them having to ride a trike, carry everything because it's delivered to them. So that solves one problem. But because the vision for it was great, right? The vision was really to like enable tenderos. They were able to scale. So now, if you could imagine, they are offering e-services, which just means every tendera could be able to offer bills payment. They could be able to offer GCash payment and all that. And so this is another product in the realm that again have solved the problem. So if you think your problem is so big, break this down into a roadmap. So for now, you would say, I will solve this problem first. But in the future, if I would have more funding, I would solve this problem. And if you were to choose what you would solve right now, it should be the problem which I guess most of your competitors are weak in. Because I'm sure they have their weaknesses. You have to look through that. Yeah.
So, ayan, very na-enlightened ako, ma'am. Ayan, so sure kayo sa mga ating mga ka-team. Ayan, I think, ayan, so thank you so much, ma'am, ayan, for answering our questions. Ayan, pasensya na kinuha ko yung time. So, may audience tayo. Gusto magtanong, ayan, sayang kasi.
Okay lang. I mean, if you have one more question.
Ayan.
Yes. Ayan. So for our third question, ma'am, for those who have no prior experience with entrepreneurship, what can you advise to them as the most effective starting marketing strategy?
Oh, okay. Marketing strategy wise, I would say though, if you are a starting entrepreneur, you have to really think about your systems first. When I was starting off before, I've had a lot of failed businesses, which I had a lot of failed businesses in the past. And one of the things that I really failed to do was create systems for myself. So I would find myself in the middle of the week, parang so stressed because I couldn't figure out one thing that could have been easily done in 5 minutes had I had the system for it. So create a system that would allow you to focus on the work that has to be done talaga, and make sure, I guess, if you're a starting entrepreneur, that the topic or the product that you're selling is something that you're passionate about. And if you're not good at it, let's say for me, I have Sadie's, which is a food brand, and I really cannot cook for the life of me. I tried to cook mushrooms earlier, but it's good. I think it's good. I would eat it. But what I'm saying is I have a food brand, but I'm not a chef. I'm not good at cooking. And one thing that you would have to remember is great companies are not built by just one person. You have to look for people who are also great at the things that you are weak at, because you would complement each other. So if you are starting a business and you're not good at marketing, look for somebody who's good at marketing. If you want to be the person who's good at marketing, take time to learn it. Take a month or so to learn it. There are a lot of courses out there. And if you're looking for an easy marketing strategy, I would say there's no easy marketing strategy. Everything has to be strategic. You have to think through the fundamentals of your business and have to like look at the different building blocks of it, right? And just to build it properly. So yeah, I hope I answered the question. I think I babbled a lot.
Yes. You answered it, ma'am. Alright, ayan, thank you, ma'am. Ayan, so, siguro yung one of the highlights sa last answer ni ma'am is yung you can be strong on one of your weakness. You should just need to find a way for that. So I think that is a good parang note for our audience. Ayan, so
Yes.
to start up. All right.
Yeah. Important yung co-founders if you want to start off. They should complement you and you should be able to trust them and work with them properly. So, yeah.
Guys, ayan. So mga gusto mag-startup, ayan. Mayroon tayong 163 participants. Mga gusto nyo, ayan, simulan nyo na agad. Ayan, mga interested.
Yeah, baka may na-inspire dyan.
Truly, alright.
Alright, partner, do you have any more questions?
I think,
for Miss Ab or for
okay
our audience naman? Alright.
So yeah.
Ayan. And guys, may mga pahabol pa ba tayong questions?
Ayun, huwag nga mahiya guys. Ayun, pwede yung i-PM na lang sa amin kung nahihiya kayo. Ayan, sayang yung opportunity with Miss Sab. Ayan.
Ayan. From Mr. Sam uli. Ako po question ulit. So, saan po mas magandang matuto sa business schools or humanap ng mentors na may mga results na po talaga?
Trick question. I didn't go to a business school, so I would be a bias. I would answer in a biased way. I would say though that everything I learned through my failures, and I learned through working in companies with leaders I look up to. So super important, I guess, as you guys would be graduating and like figuring out what the next step is, whether you want to become entrepreneurs yourself or you want to work for a company. If you want to be entrepreneurs yourselves, you have to be ready for the amount of work that you have to put into and the number of failures that you will encounter. If you want to work for a company, make sure that the people you're working with, the leaders that you would be working with, are people that you respect and you trust. Because that way you would be enabled and empowered to like ask them questions and learn from them, and also learn from their mistakes and learn the best practices on how to lead. Because entrepreneurship really is a lot of management, a lot of people management, a lot of risky decision making, and like a lot of strategic sessions and all that. And so it's a lot of things. There's no, I guess, framework, one fit framework for it. You have to create your own framework. So that's my advice. Look for a mentor. If it's a friend that you know, if it's your boss, look, just ask them questions.
All
So,
right.
mentor, ang ating keyword for that answer. So, yan.
You're welcome.
Alright, ayan guys, baka meron pang gusto pang huling humabol para sa ating last question. Ayan guys, take this opportunity.
Ayan, partner, someone asked a
Ayan.
question. Ayan, unahin natin si Mr. Ryan. Super, short lang. What is the hardest part of marketing?
The hardest part of marketing, I think dependent talaga to kung sino kayo. For me, the hardest part of marketing at the beginning was looking at data. Because you might think that marketing is just, crafting your key visuals, writing your copies and all that. Well, that is true. It's not it. That's just not it. You have to look at the data. You have to like analyze the trends, and you have to look at what happened the past 3 months and how is it different the next 3 months and how is it different from the last year and all that. So for me personally, the hardest part was trying to get myself out of my mindset that I suck at math, because initially I thought that I would never work on anything that has to do with numbers as a creative person. But once I learned to accept that understanding numbers would help me create and craft better messaging and craft better strategies, I was able to like unlock better marketing skills and all that. So I would say that, really. You're welcome.
Ayan. All right, thank you so much for that answer, Miss Sab. But I think, partner, do you have any more questions? Dito sa akin may nag-DM si Mr. or Miss Sian. Is it more important daw po to foresee what your business would be in, say, 5 years from now, or to just focus on the process and problems ng business currently?
Got it. I would say it's important for you to have a roadmap, at least. For you to have a goal. Parang if for example your goal is to be funded or your goal is to sell your business, you have to have a roadmap on what are the next steps that you have to take to get through that. Because if wala ka nung light at the end of the tunnel, it would be so hard for you to make decisions, because you're just gonna decide on how to solve the current problem at hand. But you, as an entrepreneur, you have to look at the bigger picture. Where are you heading? And if solving this problem really help me get to where I want? Or is this just, one of those things that I'm procrastinating with because I'm too afraid to take a look at the mess that I wasn't able to fix at the beginning? So I would say it's super difficult for businesses to have like 5 year goal and all that, but it's important for you to have a, a goal and then to have a roadmap and then break it down. What does it look like in 3 months? What does it look like in next month? What does it look like in a year and all that? And then after 6 months or after a year, reevaluate. Is it still the same goal? Is it still the same path? Are the variables different now na mas mature ako, mas may na-meet akong new people? Would anything change in terms of what I have to decide on? So, yeah, yun.
Thank you,
Alright.
Miss Sav, for that heartfelt answer for
Yes,
our
once
question.
again. Another one naman, partner, for Miss Sab. An anonymous question. Regarding your experience po sa grocery, who is their target market? Yung mga tinderos or yung mga bumibili sa mga tindero through their app? Sino pong target market ng grocery?
So grocery is an app only for sari-sari store owners. If we are more direct to the point, the target audience are again sari-sari store owners, but in business, right, you have to think through like all other things to scale. But if I were to answer your question, their target audience really are your sari-sari store tinderos, because the app is built for them to be able to cut the middlemen, to make sure that they just buy through the app and it's delivered to them. They could run business as usual without having to ever go out and step on a Pure Gold or a Super 8 or all of those. It would be delivered to them directly.
All right, ayan. Once again, thank you so much, Miss Sab Quinones, for giving your thoughts sa previous questions ng ating audience kanina. And I think, by checking the time, I think yun na po ang huling question natin for this event. But Miss Sab, do you have any contact details po wherein our audience or kami po mismo, we can also reach you after this event?
You could message me via Instagram. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. I am just at Sab Quinones on Instagram. And there's like a mail button there. So if you want to email me, you can just use that also.
Alright, ayan. Automatic. I'll follow naman.
Yes. Any you would like to promote, Ma'am Sab, to the Sadies or any team project that you currently have right now? So you may promote.
Okay. Well, I'm part of Curator Capital and Sadies. Sadies, I would say, not to be biased, would be one of the best cheesecakes you would ever have to experience. So check us out and also check out Curator Capital as we are still building out. I guess we're on the building stage of our startup, so you would be able to see how we would be introducing new products and services.
All right. Thank you, Ma'am. Okay. And now, moving forward to our awardee, to show our sincere appreciation to you, Ma'am, for lending your time and your knowledge. So we would like to award a certificate. So please allow me to read the citation. So the certificate of appreciation is awarded to Miss Isabel Quinones in grateful acknowledgement and sincere appreciation for imparting valuable insights and knowledge as a resource speaker during As They Explore, teaching and presentation must have skills in the new normal. Given this 10th of March 2022 via Zoom video conference, signed by Tricia Durin-Girelo as the Vice President and the Project Head, and Mr. Kenny D, the Advisor of ASTI. So once again, thank you so much, Miss Sav. And guys, let's give a virtual Zoom clap to Miss
Yes.
Sav.
Thank you.
Sister.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Ayan. But before you leave po, Miss Sab Quinones, may we request to have a group photo op po with you?
Sure.
Ayan. Alright, ayan guys. So sa mga nakahiga dyan, tumayo tayo for mga 10 seconds lang to. Picture lang tayo, guys.
Ayan, okay. So please open your cameras, guys.
Isa-isa na sila nag-open. Alright.
Alive ba rin ang ating mga participants? Ayan, it's good to see them na they're really interested sa ating mga talks for today. Grabe. Ayan. Alright, so I think we're good na. So, organizer, with the honor of capturing. So guys, please hold your smile. So since we have, I think, 11 page here in Zoom. So yeah. Okay. So in a count of 3, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Ayan, sige, ngiti lang kayo guys. Ayan, last na to. Okay, mag-alala. Alright. So, organizers, are we all good? Alright, we're done. Alright, thank you, Miss and to our audience. Thank you for opening your eyes. Alright. So, alright. So,
Ayan, thank you so much, guys.
Okay, so I think Megan, that's end our talk for this webinar. So I think grabe, ang dami nating natutunan. Megan, tangalata naman sa mga questions natin.
Yeah. I think super hooked tayo sa ating 2 speakers for today. Like, grabe, sobrang articulate sumagot ng mga speakers sa mga questions, no?
Yes.
Yes. Ayan.
Alright.
Ayan, alright.
Go, Megan.
Okay. And syempre guys, ito na. Balita ko, may kilala ko na may hinanda siyang message para sa atin bago matapos yung event na to. So now, for our closing remarks and reminders, once again, for all of you, let us all welcome ang nag-iisang Vice President ng ASTI. Ayan, let us all welcome Miss Trisha Relox.
Good day, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to all of our speakers for sharing their valuable knowledge and discussions with all of our participants throughout the ASTI Explore Design Thinking webinar series on must-have skills in the new normal. My deepest gratitude to my co-officers who worked tirelessly in organizing and overseeing these events, and to our organization advisor for his guidance in this webinar series. However, most importantly, I would like to thank you all, the participants, for attentively listening to our speakers and for contributing greatly to the improvements and progress of the event. Without your input and ideas, this webinar would not have been the success it has. As the Explore became an avenue for the students to have design thinking skills, to be innovative and effective technopreneurs at a young age, it also educates the students about the opportunities in business, wherein they develop and enhance their skills, and encourages their engagement in the field where technology, innovation, and business meet. As this 4-part webinar series comes to an end, I am pleased to announce that we are to extend this series into many enthralling topics. We hope to see you join us with ASTI's future events. Thank you.
Alright, what a great closing remarks we gather from Miss Trisha. So let's give her a virtual round of applause. Ayan, grabe. Speech kong speech. Alright, so with that, we are now almost at the end of our program. But before we say goodbye, we would like to request all of our participants to fill out the evaluation form na ipapakita sa inyong mga screens. And remember guys, only those who will fill out the evaluation form will receive their e-certificates. The link is on the screen and to be sent on your Zoom chat box. Ayan ang ating organizers.
Ayan. So guys, the evaluation form will be closing by midnight, 11:59. So please let us know how we can improve by giving us your thoughts and your feedbacks because they really matter. All right, guys. And remember, no evaluation, no certificate. Ayan. Kaya go, guys. Fill up na ha.
I think Megan, nakalimutan mo yung pinaka-importante na no attendance, no evaluation. Wala silang entry sa ating raffle. Ayan. So feel ko yun yung pinaka-importante talaga doon. 100
dapat
pesos.
Yun.
Ay, sorry. Alright, guys, remember, ayan. So yung magiging entry nyo for that raffle na 100 pesos. Meron tayong 3 winners doon. So ang kailangan nyo lang ay sagutan ng aming attendance form and evaluation form na magsasara mamayang 11:59 p.m. So kung ako sa inyo guys, sagutan nyo na ngayon ay ang nasa link na binigay. So alright, also guys, dito namin kukunin sa evaluation form nga yung raffle. And kung gusto nyo pang manalo ng marami pang prizes, be sure to answer the form. And remember, dapat nakapilap kayo sa parehasak, hindi lang sa attendance and sa registration. Kailangan both. Ayan. So once again, our registration form is nasa link. Ayan. So while everyone is doing their evaluation, I would like to take this time to thank everybody. Ayan. From the first webinar of ASTI Explore na sumubaybay sa atin. It has truly been a blessing to have this opportunity to learn and grow as a technopreneurs together with ASTI.
Tama ka dyan, partner. And once again, to everyone in this webinar, thank you guys for attending and keeping in touch with us. Thank you to all our ASTI officers and advisor, and of course, to our speakers who have come and shared their knowledge with us today. So let's give ourselves a round of applause, guys. Deserve. Ayan. And with that, bago tayo tuluyang magpaalam, please open your cameras one last time, guys, for our final photo op for today.
Ayan. Alright.
Yan, guys. Yung mga hindi nagkaroon ng opportunity ma-open yung cam nila kanina. It's your time to shine.
And guys, remember, if you'll be sharing your experience to your social media stories with this event, don't forget to use our official hashtag #ASTIExplore and #BASTIG. At huwag na rin kayo mahiyang i-follow ang social media account ng ASTI for upcoming events. Alright, ayun. So, goods na ba tayo, Megan, sa ating mga audience? Ayan, pwede daw magpa-picture. Ayan, sige magsawa. From Gerald, okay. Say, and organizers, are we ready to take a photo? Ayan, so I think we are now ready. So please, so guys, ganun ulit. So smile lang kayo for a couple of minutes, ayan, until we get a lot of the gallery. So guys, in a count of 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright, ayan, sige. Last na daw, guys. Okay, organizers, are we all good? Okay na. Okay, thank you guys. Ayan, sige, palakpakan nyo ulit. Ayong sarili, grabe, from 160 to 158. So grabe, parang nag-stick talaga sila until the end.
Oo, guys, ang solid nyo. Thank you.
Truly, alright. And that concludes our session for today. Maraming salamat sa mga umatan at patuloy na attend sa mga upcoming events ng ASTI. And we hope na marami pa kayong matutunan for your design thinking and business pitching journeys. And we hope na makita pa namin guys sa mga upcoming sessions ng ASTI na mga events. So hindi lang dito nagtatapos, madami pang mga competition, webinar na for sure ma-enjoy nyo at makakaroon kayo ng amazing cash prize. Ang pinaka-importante. Alright.
In-emphasize talaga. Ayan, grabe. Ayan, wow. So, guys, bantayan nyo lamang ang Facebook page ng ASTI sa /FATechASTI to keep yourself in the loop. Ayan.
Alright, so once again, so I think we have a video before we end, or sorry. Okay, so I think we have one more video to show after we end. So once again, I am your very energetic at chismosa nyong host, Kuya Bogs.
And I am your host, Meg, ang inyong napakamigandang host. Again. Alright, thank you so much sa inyong lahat. And we hope to see you again in the other events of ASTI.
Ayan, and let's watch this. So I think we have a couple video presentation for ASTI na I think dapat nyong abangan. So yeah. So alright, ayan. Grabe, extended. Parang so guys, ayan, special announcement. We have extension pala ng ASI Explore. Grabe. Even na hindi ko alam na may extension ng ASI Explore.
Nagulat ka ba, partner? Ako rin. Alright, grabe.
Alright, so yan. So
Okay.
I think that officially end our webinar and see you sa extended ASTI Explore a Must-Have
Yes.
Skill and the New Normal.
All right. Once again, guys, we hope to see you again in the other event ng ASTI. Bye, everyone, and stay safe.